Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are so excited you're here. I'm Nikki McCutchen. I will be your host. Just know tonight, whoever invited you to the call must really care about you to want you to know about this technology. We have an amazing story for you tonight. I got to meet this gentleman a few weeks ago, and I was just like, oh, please, will you please come on my Zoom and share your story? I know you all are just going to love it so much. And he's just going to bless you and bless so many because he's willing to share his story with others. So tonight, we're so excited to have Pat with us. And I'm just going to start real quick with our medical disclaimer. All of our technology that we're discussing tonight is for informational, educational purposes only. All of the products are not intended to treat, cure, diagnose, or prevent any disease. If you are on medications or pregnant or nursing, please check with your preferred healthcare practitioner first, just like you would with any normal diet or health regimen as well. So, with that, we are super excited to turn the call over to Pat, and we're just so anxious to hear your story. Tell us how you got started on the technology, what made you start using it, and what your results have been since.
Well, thank you for having me. I don't honestly feel that my story is special because I've heard so many testimonies of what other people have experienced with the patches. So I'll just tell you what I went through, how I got to where I am, and just add my name to the list of all the people that have, had great results with it. I am a member of BNI chapter, Metro Business Builders, and I would say 6, 8 months ago, we had someone come and join our chapter. Her name was Linda Palmer, and she was a LifeWave representative. And she got up one day to do a feature presentation. And it's custom in our chapter, after you finish your feature presentation, you give a gift. You have a door prize. And so on that day, I was given Linda's door prize. And I should make a disclaimer. I grew up Catholic and my patron saint was Doubting Thomas. Okay. So if that tells you anything about my how I approach things, that's kind of how. So I took the patches, I sat on them for a while and I thought, okay. And every week, did you try them? Did you try them? Did you try them? No, I haven't tried it. So I get up every morning. I'm in the gym a lot and I get up every morning and I do between 40 and 50 push-ups. And several years ago, 2 years ago, I was acting in the gym. I jacked up my left shoulder and I was doing bench press and I didn't have good range of motion with my scapula and I kind of tore something. Went saw a physical therapist and the therapist said, yeah, you don't have range of motion on your scapula. You need to do some stuff. So I did some stuff, but I still had a lot of grinding. So this takes us back to my 40 push-ups in the morning and Linda giving me 5 patches, right? So here we are. I thought, well, okay, I'll go ahead and put the patch on and see what happens. Well, we know the rest of the story. We put the patch on and within 3 days, I don't have any more grinding. Okay, so wear the patches 5 days and I don't say anything. I just go on like, yeah, okay, it's not a thing, right? And I don't know when the next rotation came up, but Linda comes up again and she's doing another feature presentation. And guess what? Guess who winds up getting her door prize? Doubting Thomas, right? So anyway, she gives them to me. I put the patches on, same results. And then shortly thereafterwards, I'm buying the big box and here we are, right? I'm enjoying the benefits of it. My shoulder's doing great. And I mentioned to Nikki the other day, and I don't know if I shared this with Linda, that it'll be 6 years ago, 7 years ago in March, I had a ST emergency myocardium infarction. And for those of you that are non-medical personnel, that means I had a widowmaker heart attack while I was in the gym. And after you have a cardiac event like that, they put you on a cocktail of medication from baby aspirins to metoprolol to Brilinta to atorvastatins, all those kinds of things. I did not like being on any of those. So I weaned myself off. But one of the net results of, having had, that type of cardiac event is you typically wind up with an elevated blood pressure. And again, I'm not making any claims. I'm not saying anything about it, but I got, I would go in and my blood pressure is typically 140 to 145 and has been for the last 6, 7 years. And I went in the other day and put the cuff on and my blood pressure was 114/72. So I know that there's the technology goes in and it does do some reverse aging in your heart. And, I personally believe that's part of my story. So, thanks to Linda, I'm getting younger every day. If she could do something with the hair, I'm just waiting for that to happen. That'd be all great. Right. So anyway, that's just kind of my story.
Praise the Lord.
I don't think it's anything special. I think I'm pretty common with the results that I'm experiencing, but, I love to tell it.
Absolutely. Yeah, those results can be very common for people, especially because of what the technology does and what GHK copper peptide ultimately, that's what it's about, is what GHK copper peptide in your body does. So, yes, so definitely those results are phenomenal. So the grinding you noticed within 3 days stopping, and then how long had you been utilizing the technology based on when you went back into the doctor?
I would say I've been on the patches consistent for 45 days. Isn't that what I believe so? Yeah. So I've been using
Awesome.
them and again, my shoulder is the number one area that I've noticed, but I've had, my meniscus on my knees, I've had different things done to me. And, I don't want to say, oh, I've got all this stuff going on, but I can tell when I'm in the gym, I've got more energy. I mean, I'm out working everybody that's there. I don't have the joint slowness and pains and inflammation and everything else that I had before. So, they're doing wonders for me, at least while I'm in the gym. They could
Yeah,
take some edge off my
absolutely.
face, I'd really be happy, right? All the stuff that you can't see is working. I know it was change, but
Yes, no, well,
I'm
you
just
only
vain.
have
That's all. I'm just
45
vain.
days. So
Yeah.
45 days, man, you got compounding effects getting ready to come down the pike. So wouldn't be surprised if you notice stuff in your hair and your face and all kinds of things. So yeah, collagen doesn't even kick in until 3 months. So you've got time. Like you're only halfway there so far. So that's amazing. So are
Yeah.
you just using the X39?
So I started 2 weeks ago using the X49.
Okay.
And that's when I really started kicking butt in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the other guys are like, "What's going on? Why are you doing that? Why? And it's just so that has made a huge difference. I don't do the X49 every single day. I'm in the gym 3 days a week, so I typically wear it at least those 3 days, and sometimes in between. I wear the X39, and then I've started taking the Aeon patch,
Mm-hmm.
started doing that on my gym days as well because I understand it helps with inflammation. I'm not by any means a product expert, but when you lift heavy and you do things like that, your joints do have or have had a tendency to swell. So maybe the combination of the cocktail is just doing me good.
Absolutely. Yeah. And just so you know, since you're so new, which and Vicky put in the chat as well, the combination of the X39 and the X49, when you look at the studies and you listen to David Schmidt talk, those have potentially fantastic results on hair growth. So just know that combination synergistically makes a huge difference in the hair. So yeah, but got to give
Okay,
it
every
time
day
to
I'll
tell.
start wearing it every day. Yeah, we'll accelerate that.
Absolutely. For your hair, yes, that's what I would say for your hair. Normally, I would say, yeah, absolutely. Whenever you go to the gym, if you just want to utilize X49 and Eon on those days, for sure. But if you want to really try to promote and support the natural body's way to, support hair growth, then the combination on a daily basis will have fantastic effects. So I love that you're seeing all that so quickly. So we would call you a one patch wonder. These results do happen a lot. If they don't happen for you, it doesn't mean the technology is not working. That's what's
Mhm.
amazing is that it's always working. We have the test results to prove that at a week out, at 30 days out, at 90 days out, at a year out. Like the technology is always working in your body, so you can be rest assured of that. You can find all of those research studies at patchtheway.com, PATCH, theway.com. There's a little button that says click here. And when you type it, you click here and then you'll enter the password light. And then across the top will come the research studies and the patents. So you can look at all of those. We have over 250 patents. We have over 90 clinical studies. So, like the studies that I'm talking about with X49 and stuff, you'll find those there as well. So I'm just going to give you a brief overview of the technology so everyone has that. We are FDA compliant as a general wellness product. It is a class 1 medical device, completely non-transdermal. This is the technology that we're talking about, a tiny little patch. A non-transdermal means there's nothing that's transferring from this patch into your body. It is sealed with medical grade plastic on both sides. It's hypoallergenic adhesive. And so this on the inside of that patch is amino acids and salts that are at the stereoisomer level in a crystal lattice structure. That is a scientific term. That crystal lattice structure is reflective like a mirror. And I'm going to explain what happens with that here in a minute. But like I mentioned before, it has a 96% effectiveness rate. So this effectiveness rate, again, is truly remarkable. If you take that and measure it to anything else that you're going to utilize, that even like supplementation. So if we're trying to compare naturally, like looking at supplementation, what they're going for when they're studying supplements and whether they're going to put them on the market or not is if it has at minimum a 30% effectiveness rate. It has to have at least that. They're going for higher, obviously, the better, but 96% is unheard of. So truly, truly remarkable, always working in the body. This technology is extremely affordable. So again, if we're looking at a comparison, this comparison is not great, but I will explain why I'm giving you this comparison, would be like a stem cell injection on the market today. So those are thousands and thousands of dollars. If you go into your doctor and they're talking about, recommending a stem cell injection, they're going to tell you that we have no idea whether it will work for you or not. So you are comparing, we have no idea, and thousands of dollars to a 96% effectiveness rate that is extremely affordable, less than a cup of coffee a day. So that is truly amazing in what you are getting access to have your body's ability to be more vital, to work better, all the things that Pat was talking about. If you do exercise, those are things that you should notice in the gym. I notice all those same things that Pat's talking about. So truly, especially as I started to lift heavier, noticing that help of the combination of the X39 and the X49, just compounding my ability to actually build muscle. And I'm 51 years old. So that's amazing for a woman to be able to do that in such a short period of time. I just implemented that a few months ago, starting in August, and I have had huge gains in my muscle and my decrease in body fat, which has been truly amazing. So when I'm talking about these comparisons, there's truly no other product in the world that does what X39 does. It's completely novel. There's no other technology that rivals what it does. And it is a game changer, like Pat was talking about. So let's talk about how the mechanism of action, how it actually works. It works through a process called photobiomodulation. That is just a big word for light making change in the body. And you all actually understand what this is because every time you step out into the sun and the sun hits your skin and your eyes, it tells your body to make vitamin D. That vitamin D then goes and does what it was already designed to do in the body anyway. So again, it's your body's ability. The sun is not giving you vitamin D. It's your body's ability to then use and access that vitamin D as it so deems necessary. So this technology works that same way, only you don't have to have the sun. Your body becomes the light source or the heat source. And this may sound strange as well, but when you look through night vision goggles, you're watching a movie and they're looking through night vision goggles and they start to talk about a heat signature. And you're seeing all those different colors come up of that heat signature that they're looking at. Scientifically, that is a low-grade infrared light. That infrared light hits the center of this patch, which is that crystal lattice structure that's reflective like a mirror, and it reflects back into the body at a very specific frequency, turning on GHK copper peptide. Once GHK copper peptide is turned on, it then goes and does what the body already was going to use it anyway. It's just that GHK copper peptide, as we age, it begins to decline in the body. It's still there, it's just no longer working. It's the natural body's aging process that happens across the board with multiple things in the body. But GHK copper peptide is considered the fountain of youth. That fountain of youth can activate regenerative cells that can go anywhere and become anything your body so deems necessary. So thankfully for Pat, that was very quick that he noticed it in the shoulder. I would have told him, I have no idea if it's going to, we're going to put it on your shoulder, but we have no idea if that's going to happen very quickly. Thankfully, he did, and he noticed really quickly, and that was phenomenal. And of course, again, he had very quick results in his blood pressure as well for 45 days later, because the technology not only activates or I shouldn't say the technology, but GHK copper peptide not only activates and turns on regenerative cells, it also supports your entire cardiovascular system at the mitochondrial level. So everything across the board, your heart, the blood vessels, the lining of your blood vessels are all supported at the mitochondrial base, which allows your body to then turn on ATP, which is that energy, the powerhouse of the cell, the energy that goes and is able to do all the mechanisms of action that your body so needs to talk, to think, everything that it does to help support the blood pressure and for that to work properly as the body was designed to work. And thankfully for Pat, that happened very quickly to have that support. Just because it doesn't do that for you, if that's what you're looking for, your body may have another area that it deems necessary for life. And so it will go to that area first. And you want it to go to wherever your body is fearfully and wonderfully made. And so to have that kind of support in your body, you want your body to be able to decide where it is that it wants to use it. So we've talked about activating regenerative cells. We've talked about support for your cardiovascular system. It also supports the brain, which I mentioned. So again, in our clinical studies, you can see brain fog lifting very quickly. I had that happen in about 6 weeks. I just felt like I could think clearer, like my words were coming better. I wasn't forgetting things that I was saying to my kids, which they were very happy about too, as well, that I wasn't asking them the question over and over again. So having that support for your brain can make a huge difference, because a lot of times we just classify that as aging. Like things are just, I guess I'm just aging because I'm not remembering that as well anymore. So I was so thankful to have that back to my thinking process and thinking clearer. So the next thing is the collagen. So your collagen is not just hair, skin, and nails. So like I mentioned before with Pat, encouraging him to just keep going, because the collagen doesn't actually kick in till about 3 months. So that's why it's so important to allow your body the ability to continue all the regenerative processes. We're talking about natural. So you are in alignment with an outcome, with some sort of outcome, you are in alignment with that. So you can choose to be in alignment with the natural aging process, or you can choose to be in alignment with a technology like this that's going to help reset 4,000 genes to a younger, healthier state and get your regenerative cells up and working for you on your behalf again. So some people notice quick changes in their hair, skin, and nails, but again, that collagen isn't even really fully active, because collagen is all across your body. So it's in your ligaments, in your tendons, in your joints, in your cartilage, in your fascia. Everything is made up of collagen. Literally, collagen is the glue that holds your body together. A lot of times we just think of it as hair, skin, and nails. But Pat wants that regenerative stuff to keep going on in his shoulder, keep having that collagen help all of that as well. So that's going to be huge for him as well with the collagen support. So anytime you can get collagen and regenerative cells going in the same direction, working together, makes a compounding huge effect on your body's ability to regenerate. These two things they also decline at about the same rate. So regenerative cells begin to stop working properly really around the age 30. About 50% are no longer working. By the time you're 60, you only have about 10% any longer working on your behalf. Collagen slows down at that same rate. So when you're turning those two back on together, it truly has a remarkable effect across your body, a compounding effect. The next thing I like to talk to people about is your immune system. A lot of times people just think, especially going into cold and flu season, that's what we think of our immune system for, is helping us with those normal, colds that we come across. Your immune system is actually what controls all disease, all illness in the body. So if you have that natural body support with that as well, it makes a huge difference in your health. So it's one of those things that I always say, that I will have a patch on my body until Jesus comes to get me, because I want to keep regenerating and keep my body going in that direction of regeneration until the Lord decides to take me home. And I want to feel as good as I possibly can for as long as he leaves me here. So those 5 things are literally a short list. If you actually look at the research behind GHK copper peptide and what it does, it helps to support over 80 different functions in the body and allows your body to operate at vitality. And so these 80 different things that could potentially go wrong if GHK copper peptide is working properly, those things are not going to be in your future, which is what is so amazing as well. So those are 5 short things that are all encompassing around the body, which I feel like is amazing enough, but just know it does even more. So if I was going to talk to you about how you would support even just these 5 areas in supplementation, we're talking well over $400 a month that would cost you. Again, like I told you, this technology you can have for less than a cup of coffee a day, which is truly amazing. So the other thing to think about is, even though I've said all those things, people always come back with the question of, Okay, Nikki, but how long do I actually have to wear this? Okay. If you don't have a list of things, aches, pains, illness, disease, if you don't have this list, I'm going to tell you 1 month for every decade you are old. So, like I told you, I'm 50. So that would be 5 months that I would need to give it. Okay. If I have any list of things going on over here, like Pat talked about having a heart condition, he really would like to have that supported in his body, working optimally to hopefully help support that system. I would have told him he needs to wear this at least 6 to 12 months to give him enough time to get back into the doctor, to have regular checkups run so he can see the changes on checkups. So even if he's not feeling anything, he can actually see it in his blood work and the normal testing that a doctor would run. So the other thing you always have to consider is you lived yourself into this situation. So now you need to live yourself out of it. So it took time to get you in whatever situation you're in. So now you need to allow your body, because again, we're talking about natural regenerative processes getting up and running, which is not a quick fix. I know we live in a microwave society, but it took you a long time. Those things harbored in your body for a long time. Pat's heart condition harbored in his body for a long time before it ever showed up. So you have to live yourself out of that situation too. And this is a fantastic way to do that, is by utilizing this technology. It doesn't get any easier than putting on a patch every single day. I put mine on when I get up in the morning. I take it off 12 hours later before I go to bed. The next day I wake up and I put on a brand new patch, day after day, week after week, month after month. I am allowing my body to have those regenerative changes in it. So the other big thing is hydration is always key. This is not just for this patch technology, but is for anything in the body that you want to work right. So Pat was talking about how he's working out. If you're working out, if you're sweating, you need that hydration. You need more hydration than what your body, half your body weight in ounces. Really, how you want to do that so you're not having an issue at night of getting up and going to the bathroom is you want to drink 4 to 5 ounces every 30 minutes throughout the day. I know initially in your brain that makes you think that you'll have to be running to the bathroom constantly, but your body actually adjusts and it actually is able to use the hydration versus having to run to the bathroom and let it all out, because now it doesn't have an excess. It has what it needs to operate in every 30 minutes that you're awake throughout the day. So that is the basics of the technology. We always encourage you that you get back with the person who invited you to the call tonight. Tell them that you are ready to get started on this technology. Just like Pat said, he doesn't feel like his results are any different than what anybody else would have. I'm always just, so excited, and just it's such a thrill to be able to see people's results, and we just celebrate with everyone across the board, whatever their results are. So make sure you get back to the person who invited to call tonight. Tell them that you're ready to get started. So Pat was telling you a story of him waiting, and Linda's asking him, like, did you try him? What did you wear him yet? The reason we do that is because we know the results people can sometimes get really, really quickly. So don't wait. Get started on the technology now. And we will be so excited to have you on and just hear about your results as well. Pat, is there anything else that you would like to share with us tonight, or any other things that jarred your memory as I was talking?
Well, the hydration piece is a real big deal. I did notice that I got much thirstier when I started wearing the patches. So, I take electrolytes while I'm working out, but that was one of the things that I did notice too. I thought, why am I so thirsty all the time? And then it clicked in, oh yeah, you need to hydrate more when you're on the patch. A side note, you talked about weightlifting and you talked about the reduced, body fat and putting on muscle. Well, I'm what, 60, I'll be 62, and we lift heavy on Saturday. Well, my bench has gone from 250 to 270 just in the time that I've been wearing the patch. So I'm definitely seeing, and I'm not adding more protein. I'm not taking steroid, not doing anything different, just the patches and drinking a little more water. But I have seen my strength increase during the same time frame. So maybe that's a typical result. Maybe it's not a typical result. I don't know. But it's fun to sit there on the bench and outbench your buddies. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially you men. You like those bragging rights.
very
It's very
competitive, very
important.
competitive. That's right.
Absolutely. I love it for sure. That's amazing. And I love that you added the piece about electrolytes. So, the electrolytes allow our body, our cells in particular, to have the electrical conductivity to talk to each other. That's how the cells communicate to each other, is through electricity, through that ATP of being able to carry the hydration from one cell to the another and throughout the body. And so, yes, it is very important. I would highly recommend good, high quality electrolytes as you are utilizing this technology as well, and especially if you're working out, because we want to make sure that hydration also can be drawn into the cell so that you have the nutrients that you need for this technology and really any natural body process to work better. Those are needed minerals that we need in our body anyway. So thank you for adding that as well, Pat. I appreciate it. Anything else you
Thanks
want
for
to
having
add?
me. I'm just excited to continue the journey and get going.
Awesome. Yes. Awesome. Thank you so much, Linda. I appreciate your encouraging words for sure. Yes. And thank you so much, Pat, for sharing your testimony. We know it's going to bless so many people tonight. And so with that, thank you so much for coming on, and we pray blessing over each and every one of you. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Good
Have a
night.
good
God
evening.
bless.
God bless.
Thank you for sharing your story, Pat.
Good night.
Amazing testimony.